So I'm going to start sort of looking, or I'm going to look further ahead, go past election day. The thing I am reasonably confident of, and if you're willing to put money on it, is that there won't be any campaign finance reform legislation anytime soon. Okay, no takers, okay. I also think that there's going, because of all the pressures of big money outside the candidate and party structure that Tim was talking about, because of that pressure, I think there's going to be an effort to raise the contribution limits for candidates and parties. And I don't think Congress is crazy enough to do that. I think that would be a catastrophic thing to do for congressional credibility. The court cases that are moving along right now all point toward more deregulation. For instance, there's a challenge to the foreign money ban, and I don't know if they're going to, I don't have enough knowledge of the case to have a feel of which way courts might go on that. It seems like that is probably the outlier for, it's like if you can get foreign money into American campaigns, then anything can happen. I think, I was thinking about what Congress will look like after the election. It seems like it'll be more polarized, and there's a discussion to be had about whether one of the impacts of the big quantities of outside money is to increase the polarization. But for instance, I think the Blue Dogs are essentially gone as a political force in Congress. Between campaign money and redistricting, I think the Democrats are well on their way to becoming as ideologically pure as the Republicans are. It's less clear to me what that means for you all as lobbyists. It'd be pretty easy to foresee in 2012 a year of legislative gridlock. We've seen lobbying spending go down, which is kind of remarkable, but given the way Congress has been acting, it's not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be running up my lobbying budget either. I came across an article in The Economist a couple of weeks ago about a Washington policy consulting firm, not a lobbying firm.
Mm-hmm.
You all may have seen this.
I don't recall.
I'm sorry?
I don't recall.
Okay. They did an analysis of the effect of lobbying on a company's bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And the story, the nut graph of the story says that this firm, they don't look at the volume of lobbying dollars, because then you're just measuring the biggest companies in effect. They look at lobbying expenditures as a percentage of assets. They call it lobbying intensity. And they created an index of 50 firms with high lobbying intensity. And since 2002, the index has outperformed the S&P 500 by 11% a year. So, it may be that they are equally, if they have high lobbying intensity, maybe they have intensity in other things that also give them that return. But it caught my eye, and it was another answer for the question that is always hanging over people who cover this stuff, and maybe for you guys too, which is, what's the return on investment from lobbying? Obviously, companies get something out of it, or else, the industry wouldn't be here. And also, obviously, people don't like to put it in that stark an equation. So, I'm thinking that that 2012 might be a pretty fallow year, but after that, I don't know, if Obama wins, then it seems like you're going to possibly be in for, something like the last 2 years, where Congress is not going to get more democratic, it seems. So, you'll have pretty much a continuation of the same stalemate, it seems to me. And if the Republicans win, then I think the combination of that and the presence of all the new money that is coming into the political and governing system, I think the combination of those two things set up a situation where the reputation of lobbying could take another really big hit. If you think back to the Bush administration, the early days of the George W. Bush administration, you had the Cheney Task Force, you had the heyday of Jack Abramoff. Two things that did not serve the lobbying profession well, I would argue. And if you have, another situation of everybody on the same team and everybody, scrambling to maximize the opportunity, and you have super PACs, congressional super PACs, super duper PACs, all this stuff, then it will look even worse than what it looked like in the early 2000s. So, I'm not saying that's an argument that, for one outcome or another of the election. I had a great time covering Jack Abramoff. But I think it's something that it could be really troubling for the profession. Then, kind of looking farther down the long run, if you go back down the long run behind us, it was in the early 60s, the Kennedy campaign, where he essentially privatized the presidential campaign. He took it out of the party committee and had his own well-funded campaign running independently. And now we're at a stage where we're having independent players operating outside the party committees, doing party committee type things. If you talk to American Crossroads, they can tell you about all the things they do that are like what the Republican National Committee does, could do, would do if it had the money, whatever. But, of course they do ads, they also do ground war things. And some of the Democratic super PACs are doing the same thing. So then you have the privatization of fundraising on Capitol Hill, party fundraising on Capitol Hill, where you have the super PACs that seem like they're set up to draw off money, attention, power from the Hill committees, then you have someone who isn't in leadership like Mike Lee setting up a super PAC so he can become a powerful independent player based on the amount of money he can throw around. And it seems we're going to have, over the next 2 or 3 cycles, a radical change of the way campaigns are financed, the way campaigns are run, and the way Washington deals with policy and legislation. So on that optimistic note, that's it.